Okay, welcome you all. Let's start with our session today. Yesterday we read the very famous sloka from Gita, which was Bhagavad Gita 2.7. What was the sloka? Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichhami tvam dharma sammuda cheta yasreyasya nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyaste hamsari mam tvam prapannam. Now we had a brief discussion over this. Now let's move on to the next one. Now 2.8. Again, Krishna is speaking here right now. Let us start. Someone can repeat behind me. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyad
न हि प्रपश्यामि महापनुद्य
yakchokam uchchosanam indriyanam
यक्षोकम् उच्चोषणम् इन्द्रियाणाम्
avapya bhumamasaptanam riddham
अवाप्य भूमा वसप्तं वृद्धम्
rajasuranamapi chadipatyam.
राज्यं सुराणामपीकधिपत्यम्.
Yes, translation. You can read the translation.
I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. This said by Arjuna, right? Purport.
Yes,
Although
purport. You can
Arjuna
read
was
that.
Although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of the principles of religion and moral codes, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of the spiritual master, Lord Sri Krishna. He could understand that his so called knowledge was useless in driving away his problems, which were to solve such perplexities without the help of a spiritual master like Lord Krishna. Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc., are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that a spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is a bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Lord Chaitanya said that one who's a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his social position, is the real spiritual master. It does not matter whether a person is a Vipra, learned scholar in Vedic wisdom, or is born in a lower family, or is in the renounced order of life.
Uh,
If he is a master
till
in
now,
the science of Krishna, he is,
am I audible? Hello.
he is the perfect and bona fide. Yeah,
Okay, so what you read till now, we can discuss these things because this is a long purport. We'll just split it and discuss. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Yes. Who was reading? Aditya.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything would like to share?
Yeah, so he is giving too many reasons. So only one can be true. So if he's giving too many reasons, then none of them can be true. And he's just humble bragging. He's pretending to be humble, but he's actually arrogant. He's he's telling Krishna as his guru, but he's arguing against him.
Yes. Now here Prabhupada writes, the conclusion is that the spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is one of our spiritual master, for he can solve the real problems of life. Now here he quotes from Chaitanya Charitamrit. Kiba vipra kiba nashi shudra kene na yai Krishna tattva vetta say Guru hai. Now you read here that it does not matter whether a person is Vipra, a learned scholar with Vedic wisdom, or born in a lower family. Now here itself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blew away the point about the caste system. Okay, or in the renounced orders, सन्यासी हो या गरीब फैमिली में लोअर शूद्र हो या फिर कोई पंडित हो, he has an equal opportunity to understand the science of Krishna, and he also can become a spiritual master. Okay, he also can become a guru. This is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 8.128. Right? Yes, now you can continue from here. Yes, maybe Kuldeep can read.
Yes. Reciting this shlok. Sat karma
Yes, yes.
nipuno vipro mantra tantra vishardah avaishnavo gurur nashyad vaishnavashva pacho guru. A scholarly Brahman, expert in all subjects of Vedic knowledge, is unfit to become a spiritual master without being a Vaishnav or expert in the science of Krishna consciousness. But a person born in a family of lower caste can become a spiritual master if he is a Vaishnav or Krishna conscious. Padma Puran. The problems of
Yes.
material existence, birth, old age, disease, and death cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development. In many parts of the world, there are states which are replete with all the facilities of life, which are full of wealth and economically developed. Yet the problems of material existence are still present. They are seeking peace in different ways, but they can achieve real happiness only if they consult Krishna or the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which constitute the science of Krishna through the bona fide representative of Krishna, the man in Krishna consciousness. If economic development and material comforts could drive away one's lamentations for family, social, national, or international inabilities, then Arjun would not have said that even an unrivaled kingdom on earth or supremacy like that of the demigods in the heavenly planets would be unable to drive away his lamentations. He sought, therefore, refuge in Krishna consciousness, and that is the right path for peace and harmony. Economic development or supremacy over the world can be finished at any moment by the catalysm of material nature. Even elevation into a higher planetary situation, as men are now seeking on the moon planet, can also be finished at one stroke. The Bhagavad Gita confirms that Shine Punye Martagya Lokam Vishanti. When the results of pious activities are finished, one falls down again from the peak of happiness to the lowest status of life. Many politicians of the world have fallen down in that way. Such downfalls only constitute more causes for lamentation. Therefore, if we want to curb lamentation for good, then we have to take shelter of Krishna, as Arjuna is seeking to do. So Arjuna asked Krishna to solve his problem definitely, and that is the way of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Yes, Kuldeep. I guess someone is writing on the screen. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, yes, Kuldeep, can you summarize?
Yes, so here Prabhupada is telling like about the real problems one face in this material existence of life. So those are birth, old age, disease, and death. So what people usually do, he's taking examples of Western countries or the countries where are prosperous and wealthy countries, but still they are suffering from the problems of birth, old age, disease, and death. So here Prabhupada gives an example. I have read someone somewhere like it is like traveling in a third AC, sorry, in a AC compartment. But if your train is not moving to the right direction, the uh, destination, then uh, what is the use of that first class compartment? The same can be in the lower compartment also, right?
Yeah.
If your train is not moving in the right destination, that is to realize the God, then what's the uh, point of developing such economic conditions?
Yeah, that's what. We don't have a proper goal in our life. That's what you want to say, right?
Yes, yes.
You will sit in Mumbai and you don't know where to go. You'll take any train and you'll go to Kolkata, so Chennai, but the goal should be you want to go to Delhi, but you don't know the process also and you don't know the goal also. Then you'll just messed up and waste your time throughout your life. Now,
Yes.
before moving, I would like to highlight a very important point stated here: the real problems of life. Many a times we think that problems of life are some relationship problems, some family issues, some job issues, some uh, quiz test, and all those things. But the real problems of life are not this temporary, right? Or so say this small. The real problems of life are birth. Everyone has to take birth in some or the other body. Old age, even though we don't want to become old, even though we want to stay young forever, we have to become old. Even though we don't want diseases, we have to get sick. or we get sick anyway, anyhow, and we don't want to die, we want to stay eternal, but death is inevitable. So these four are the eternal problems of our life. And to get out of this cycle of birth, death, old age, disease. Now, again, in the next body, birth, death, old age, disease. Again, in the next body, the same thing. Now, to get out of this cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, this suffering thing, the Divya Purusha or the Acharyas states to take God consciousness very seriously, or at least start your spiritual journey. The spiritual life will help you to get out of this uh, important, or say main problems, real problems of your life. All right. Now here, Prabhupada was mentioning how economic development, material concept, comforts could not drive Arjuna's lamentation. This was Arjuna was having everything. He was not lacking anything, but still he was lamenting because he was attached to his family members bodily. All right. Any other question or any other points? Anybody else would like to share anything?
Death
Yes,
is
please
not
go
a
ahead.
death is actually not a real problem of life, right? Because we are not the body, right? We are the soul, and the soul never dies.
Yes, but do you really feel people are so realized that they don't have any attachment for the body and they don't suffer at the time of death? What do you feel?
No, they do suffer
Now, what is the reason behind their suffering? Why do they
because they
suffer?
think that they have some attachment on the body, and they think that the body is their original form, and once they die, they won't exist anymore.
Exactly. The attachment is what makes us feel pain. Now, suppose you are not body, someone pinches you, then why do you feel pain? Because we are that much attached to our body. That's why uh, it is said that when we are on the verge of dying, the pain that we feel is exactly equal to the pain we feel when 40,000 scorpions bite at a single time. So that much pain a person feels when he or she is going to leave his body. Now, some there are various methods, or there are various types of ends which happens. Now it is mentioned in fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I will not go deeper into it, but the point here is, due to attachment to the body, we are feeling pain, or we feel suffering over here. We are not aware of the concept that we are soul and not this temporary body which we see in the mirror. We are currently a batch of discovery of self is going on. We are discussing the same points over there, and we are seeing the scientific proofs about reincarnation, or say punarjanma, and all those things. Today we discussed about how God exists and the scientific proofs of existence of God. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, let's go ahead. Now when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna and Krishna guided him in two verses, then sorry, Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, then Sanjay says, Sri Sanjay Vacha,
Sanjay Uvacha,
ए एवं युक्त्वा ऋषिकेशम्
evam yuktva
एवं त्वा
rishikesham
ऋषिकेशं
गुडाकेश परन्तपः
गुडाकेश परन्तपः
न योत्स्य इति गोविन्दम्
न योत्स्य इति गोविन्दम्
त्वा तुष्णीं बभूवः.
उक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः.
Yes, can you read the translation?
Yeah. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Purport. Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. But Sanjaya disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies. Although Arjuna was, for the time being, overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered unto Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness and would then surely fight. Thus, Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated since Arjuna would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end.
Yes. Would you like to share some points or anything on this?
Here, after what Arjuna had asked out, said all those the lamentations, the pain, the bodily, material possession, everything. Dhritarashtra thought, okay, now he will not fight and he will leave all the kingdom and then go for the begging profession. But Sanjay disappointed him, saying that no, Arjuna will get the self-realization or get the Krishna consciousness. Now is disciple of Krishna and he is going to realize everything correctly now.
Exactly. Now, Dhritarashtra, being a king of Kuru dynasty, should not have been biased towards his son. He should have equal vision towards the sons of Pandu and his own sons. But he was overly attached to his bodily relationship, or say attached to his son. So he would be very joyous whenever Arjuna would decide not to fight, or say whenever Arjuna was lamenting. So even in the first sloka of Bhagavad Gita, we have seen how he says, Dhritarashtra vacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsava mamaka pandava chaiva. What are my sons and the son of Pandus are doing? So here itself he
Yes.
makes a discrimination between his son and the sons of Pandus. So here, this is not an ideal king should behave like. And due to attachment of Dhritarashtra to his son, was the one of the main reason why this war was happening. Okay, if Dhritarashtra could have been intervened, uh, the Duryodhan was not in so much power to oppose his own father, but due to his attachment to his own son and supporting his son and Mama Shakuni, it was he went down to he went to this moment. Even when Vyasdeva was ready to offer him the spiritual vision to see entire war, he said, I was blind till now. Now I don't want to see the devastating things which is going to happen. So intuitively he know that his sons are going to die, but still he's feeling temporarily happy. But that happiness is also blown away by Sanjaya, saying he is a he's a chastiser of enemy, Parantapa. He he is master of curbing ignorance, and the Krishna, the master of senses, will surely guide him right now. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Sanjaya is just telling that Arjuna is telling not to fight, right? Sanjaya is just informing that Arjuna does not want to fight. So how does that spoil Dhritarashtra's happiness?
No, no, no. That doesn't spoil here. Exactly, you read. You read what exactly Sanjay is saying. Having thus spoken thus, Arjuna, the chastiser of enemy, said, "Govinda, I shall not fail," and failed silent. Now, the words which Sanjaya is using here, it it is encouraging as well as discouraging for Dhritarashtra. Now, the words like Gudha Kesha, instead of Gudha Kesha, he would have used Kaunteya or any other thing like that. But he used Gudha Kesha, the master of curbing ignorance. Now, what ignorance Arjuna is currently in, he's saying, he's acting on bodily platform saying, I would not find, these are my relatives, I would not kill my grandfather, I will not kill my guru. This is a tendency of person in mode of ignorance. And Sanjay is saying he's a master of curbing ignorance. So just after a
Okay.
proper guidance, which he will get from Rishi Kesham, or say Krishna, the controller of senses, the Parantapa, that is Arjuna, again chastiser of enemies. Such words are discouraging for Dhritarashtra, and this is what Acharyas has pointed out from here or taken lessons from here. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah. Fine.
Fine, no? Okay. Moving ahead, 2.10. Someone can repeat, okay? Tam uvacha Rishikesha
Tam uvacha Rishikesha
Rahasaniva Bharata
Prahassan iva Bharata
Senayor Ubhayor Madhye
Senayor Ubhayor Madhye
Vishidanti Tamat Idam Tvachaha.
Vishedantam idam vachaha.
Yes, you can read the translation.
Descendant, O descendant of Bharata, at the time of Krishna smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. The talk was going between intimate friends, namely Hrishikesha and Gudakesha. As friends, both of them were on the same level, but one of them voluntarily became the student of other. Krishna was smiling because a friend had chosen to become disciple. As Lord of all, he is always in the superior position as the master of everyone, and yet the Lord agrees to be a friend, a son, and or a lover for a devotee who wants him in such a role. But when he was accepted as master, he at once assumed the role and talked with the disciple like master, with gravity as it required. It appears that talk between master and the disciple was openly exchanged in the presence of both armies so that all were benefited. So the talks of Bhagavad Gita are not for any particular person, society, or community, but they are for all, and friends or enemies are equally entitled to hear them.
Yes. Any points?
So Krishna, being the supreme master here, without any bias against the Kauravas, who were the enemies of Pandavas, he had actually taught Bhagavad Gita to everyone without being biased to any one of them. So here, it is one of the keenest points of spirituality or being a spiritual master, that is being unbiased, irrespective of loss or something. And also, Arjuna here, he accepts, though he had accepted earlier that Krishna as his guru, but here there is rather than a teacher is always telling and a student is always listening, here Rishikesha and Gudakesha, they involve in a discussion rather than teaching and listening.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is a serious task, and Krishna is smiling because how Arjuna decided to be a disciple rather than a friend. Now, friendly talks will not happen anymore, and the talk between disciple and the guru is a serious talk, which Arjuna has decided. That's why Krishna is smiling out of say compassion. Or now Krishna is open to release the flow of all the knowledge, all the way summary of all the Vedic literatures to all the people regardless of their caste, society, community which they belongs to through Arjuna. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now Krishna starts speaking from here. Sri Bhagavan Vacha
Bhagavan Vacha
Vasochana Vasochastvam
So Jnanaso Anvasokatvam
Agyavadam Sabhashase
Prajnavadam Chabasase
Gatasunna
Katasunna Katasumscha
Nani Sochanti Pandita.
Anusochanti Pandita.
Okay, now those who haven't read can read the translation. Maybe Sneha Varshini.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Purport. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, you are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. As explained in later chapters, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology, but he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than religious formalities. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very lacking in that knowledge, he should not very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him there is no cause for lamentation, regardless of the condition of the material body.
Yes. Would you like to share anything?
Krishna was telling Arjuna shouldn't be thinking about the material pleasures and the relations. He should think about the soul.
Yes. Arjuna was more oriented towards uh, following Vedic principles rather than coming to following higher principles for the higher cause. We can break lower principles for higher cause, right? Now here, Krishna speaks. See, you are talking like a learned man, like a pandita, but you are worthy of it is which is not worthy of grief. Okay, Krishna's no. Before this, what happened was when Krishna spoke in 2.2 or 2.4, I guess that was like a pep talk. Krishna tried motivating Arjuna by insulting his Kshatriya character or behavior. He said Arjuna as a Shudra, hey, this is a Shudra tendency. Then he said Arjuna as impotent, where we discussed in that session how Arjuna was termed as important by because he became a female music teacher in the Sabha of Virat during his Agyatwas. So saying this harsh word to Kshatriya in that period was like provoking his anger, and now that Kshatriya will be ready to fight and do anything what he wanted. But Arjuna was so grief stricken that he did not mind Krishna chastising in that heavy words. Now Arjuna's sadness or grief was not on the surface. So to solve that grief, Krishna has to dive deeper, and with those deeper principles, he has to solve that problem for Arjuna. That's why now Krishna, when Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, then Krishna starts diving deeper, and then Krishna starts solving that problem, which is needed. Then Krishna starts giving the knowledge of soul from here. Okay, we can read one more shloka. Okay, or say any doubt till here, we'll discuss. This one is quite big. We'll leave it for tomorrow. Okay. Any doubt till 2.11?
Yeah, so even after those soldiers die, their body will still go to another form, right? So nothing is created and nothing is destroyed. So since they are
Body
just
will go
getting
to body will go to another form in what sense?
so the body is made out of five bhutas, right? It is made out
Yes,
of
Panchamahabhuta.
sand, it is made out of air, water,
Earth, water,
fire.
fire, air, ether. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
So they will just
Panchamahabhutas.
yeah. So these bhutas will just go to another place and they will assume another form. So nothing is actually destroyed. So only the form is changing and not the content. That is why there is nothing to be grieved about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what here it's mentioned. One who knows what is body and what is soul does not lament at any stage of the body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. Okay.
Okay.
So to summarize till now, just 1 second. Today we discussed some things. In the beginning, we saw how the real problems of life are birth, death, old age, and disease. And to solve those repeated cycle, we have to take spiritual life, and the serious practice of spiritual life will help us to realize how they are a real problem of life and how a spiritual life can solve those problems. Okay. Now, as Kuldeep mentioned, the example of train, we should not have a goalless life where we sit and we are traveling, but we don't have any goal in our life. Fine. Then we saw how economic development and material comforts cannot give us, cannot drive away the lamentation which we have for our families or anyone's. And at last, we discuss in that sloka, why do we suffer? We suffer due to attachment of the body, and here we discuss examples of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra. Okay. Then Arjuna said he won't fight, and Dhritarashtra was glad to hear this. Then in 2.10, we discuss about how Bhagavad Gita is not meant for any particular kind of personalities. It is meant for all the people. Then Krishna he was smiling because of the decision why Arjuna took to be a disciple rather than a friend. So he wanted to stop the friendly conversation, and he started the serious talks between a disciple and a master. That's why now Krishna will open the gigantic knowledge to his words of wisdom in future chapters. Now Arjuna will go on asking questions, Krishna will go on answering questions. So entire Bhagavad Gita is all about question and answers. Now it is not that it is somewhat rules that we have to follow. You are allowed to ask questions, but there is way to ask questions. Arjuna always was humble and submissive while asking questions. That mood helped him to learn and become victorious at the end. Okay, that's it for today. If you have any more question or any comment, please go ahead.
Ajinkya, will you please
Yes.
explain about that, like the connection between the soul and supreme Atma Paramatma?
Okay. Uh, just 1 second. Actually, the connection between super soul and soul is like two birds sitting on a tree. So one bird is we as soul, and the other bird is Paramatma. Okay. Now we are one bird is naughty bird who is jumping from one branch to other, eating fruits of that branch, then going to another branch. Then he's just wandering here and there. But the Paramatma or the bird who is silently observing is the silent observer of our activities that we are doing. So in our body there are two souls, the one soul and one super soul. So whatever intuitions we get, so for example, whenever we are doing some bad activities or whenever we are going to do some bad activities, at that time whatever intuition we get are given by the Paramatma within us, right? And the soul which uh, which which is present in everybody acts as a medium to fulfill his desire. That body acts as a medium to fulfill the soul's desire which are accumulated in his or her mind. So there are two different elements now, soul and super soul. The next verse itself, the 2.12, in which Lord Sri Krishna says, Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipana chaivam na bhavishyama sarvayam adhaparam. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, all this king. Now here in this sloka, Krishna proves the eternity of all the jivas. So we are all eternal. Even the Paramatma, that is Krishna himself, he says, I did not exist when it never was there a time I did not exist. Now even Paramatma is eternal. We are eternal, and we are just changing our body due to the desire we had to be enjoy separately from Lord. Okay, uh, is that
Yeah.
answers your question or anything more you want to know?
No, fine.
Okay, so there are we discussed now currently the two elements. One is Vijiva, then there is Paramatma, and above all there is Bhagwan. The Bhagwan who has his own personality, stays in his own spiritual sky, and we as a Jiva, the maintainer of all the activities we do is the Paramatma. The guidance or the motivation factor within us is all being given by Paramatma only. Okay, any other doubt? Anyone? Fine then. we can meet tomorrow. We'll start from 2.11. Natve Vaham Jatu Nasam. It is also a very famous sloka in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.